Hey everybody, I'm David.
I'm Jess.
I'm the husband,
I'm the wife.
and we are married.
15 to life.
Hey honey, how are you?
Hello. It has been a busy week.
Just a little.
We said it was going to slow down after Christmas. It sped up.
Well, okay. Parts of things slowed down.
It's
but
all
not
been
a
fun.
lot.
It's all been good stuff. It's all been good.
It's been
just
rewarding.
Yes,
And we're
but
gonna
been so busy.
And we're going to talk about a big part of that today, how rewarding it's been.
Good, but busy.
And not to mention, what is it about this time of the year in February going from, and I don't believe in flu season. I don't believe in it at all.
Well, there is a season.
There's a
that's
season
higher
where it's
chance.
more apt to, but yeah, I rebuke and cancel out the assignment of you will get the flu. No, I rebuke that.
But there is a thing that it is a flu season in terms of it's more going around more, you know.
More people are together inside because of the cold weather. But then there's also, when I get sick, is 2 times a year, and this is right now one of them. And that's when the cold begins to morph into the warm temperatures. But we had cold into warm, then it dropped back down to cold again, and I'm now beginning to feel.
Well, I'm at the point now where I'm
junk.
just paranoid because so many people we know have been sick. So anytime I get just a little feeling that's, am I getting sick? I kind of panic. But I think we're okay. We just had kind of a cough and running, congestion.
Yeah.
Nothing like really bad.
And my stuff's always right here. It's always my nose, my allergies, flushing this junk out, or a sore throat, something like that, because of the drainage.
A little sore, but
yeah, it's never been anything else. But besides all of that, it's been a very rewarding first 6 weeks of the new year. At the time of this recording, we are entering into the second half of February, and it's just been a very very fun time. I've enjoyed 2025 so far. It's been very productive, and I think we're getting.
January kind of felt long.
A little bit, yeah.
February's flying by.
February is flying by. Yeah, I agree. And Mark had a great birthday.
He did.
He turned the big 5.
I can't believe he's 5.
Unbelievable.
It makes me kind of sad.
I know. He's not a toddler anymore. He's a full-on little boy now.
He's not a baby.
He's not
at
a
all. I feel like
baby.
4 is still baby, a little bit.
5 is not.
I know.
5, you're a boy.
He promised he's still going to be my baby, though.
Well, he'll always be your baby.
I know.
Just like I'll always be your baby. Okay, then don't ever call me baby again. Anyway, I enjoyed celebrating. My parents got to come out for his birthday.
I'm so glad they got to come.
And yeah, because if they didn't come out, then we wouldn't be able to do what we're going to talk about right now.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about it. How else are things going in the new year as far as Bless Jess channel? We haven't really talked a lot about all the stuff you're doing and what you're creating right now.
It's pretty much been the same. I'm still doing vlogs. I'm kind of switching up and bringing a few things back, kind of seeing what people are interested in. It's always, you kind of have to go with the flow, in terms of you can't just do the same thing all the time if your views are down or whatever. So I've been kind of reshuffling a little bit, but it's been pretty much the same too.
What do you enjoy shooting the most?
Vlogs.
Just hold the camera and talk?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like shooting the other stuff is rewarding. Like I love the Sunday chats. I love recipe videos and stuff, but it's just natural to me to just vlog. Yeah. It's kind of how it started. So
yeah, it's your roots. Yeah. And plus and
there's a lot less editing. There's a lot less back end work. So I've worked on a few videos this week that have been very time consuming, and the vlogs aren't time consuming at all.
I think your hardcore audience loves the vlogs the most too.
Yeah, I think too. Yeah. You just gotta, and you try to find something that's gonna hook in new people, So it's a balance.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people will tell me, well, I found you when you were doing this, but now I love your vlogs.
Right.
It's like a gateway.
Absolutely. Yeah, a gateway to the Blessed Jess world.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting.
I live in that world, and I love being in that world.
So many people found us when we did our cruise vlogs or
Vlogmas.
Yeah, Vlogmas, although that's really vlogs.
Lunch
but
videos.
like taste test, lunch videos. A lot of people found me from the lunch videos, which I'm kind of taking a small break from just because our kids eat the same thing every single day.
I know. We have very lack of creative
it's
kids
so boring.
when it comes to food.
I feel so bad putting out the same content every week, so we're taking a short little break.
I agree.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting journey with all of this, and I'm looking forward to all the other areas that we get to explore as part of your channel and as part of this channel. And I'm excited about all the conversations we're going to still have making this. I've enjoyed really rediscovering us. That's been something that I've kind of I love when we get to do this podcast together, because I enjoy the process of, I know your primary language is quality time, and my primary is words of affirmation, and so it's in a way it's almost like we get to explore that. I get to spend a lot of quality time with you. We get to talk to each other and enjoy a good conversation, and we get to let people into a window a little bit of this is genuinely how Jessica and I talk. Even off the mic, is we throw something out there, we process it, we ask each other questions about it, and I hope and pray that people that listen to this that know us don't think that this is a character. It's not.
No,
This
it's
is
very
very
real.
much who we
Yeah.
are, and I think that
I feel like that's what we try to do in everything we do.
yeah.
I hope people don't watch my channel and think that's not who I am in real life, or
Right.
vice, or view on ministry stuff. Like, who we are in front of the camera, who we are at church, who we are at home, it's all the same people,
Yeah, I hope so, because I mean, there's definitely details you can't share with everybody.
Well, yeah.
And there's privacy things that of course
Absolutely.
we want to
But in
keep
terms
personal.
of how we act, how we talk,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%. So in the process of that, something that did happen here recently is this is the second year that my church has put on Night to Shine. And this is something that the first year was such a massive undertaking. We really did not know if our church could pull it off, because
let's explain what Night to Shine is.
you explain it.
So Night to Shine was founded from the Tim Tebow Foundation. And basically they put on a prom,
A major prom.
but way cooler than the proms I went to.
Yeah. There's a story there that I'll tell later.
For people with special needs and disabilities. And man, they come in, they have the red carpet experience with
Yep.
the paparazzi. There's a coat check. There's a dinner for them, full dinner. There's karaoke. There's a huge dance floor.
You can get your hair and makeup done.
And makeup done. They
You
have
get your shoes shined.
They have a dress event like a few weeks before where they can pick out their dress.
Yep.
Limo rides.
Yep.
I mean, anything you can think
Professional
of.
photography.
Professional photography. And every time I say stuff, I miss stuff because of how
Yep.
much there is. There's a sensory room if they need it. Because when you're talking about people with disabilities, you need a lot more
Yep.
help and, things for them. There's a respite room for their families that come, because we all know families with people with disabilities in their family, they need respite sometimes.
Absolutely.
They need to reconnect, socialize with other families. There's just so many things. And then each person that comes through, each guest also needs a buddy, a volunteer to go through that with them. So it's just a huge undertaking. I mean, it takes our church plus a lot of outside help from the community.
Absolutely.
And it was just, when you start to think about all the different people that help, it is a huge team effort.
Yep. And a special shout out to, I'm not going to give her whole name, but Pastor Jordan, who is our special needs pastor at our church. She is an incredible person, such a hard worker, loves this ministry and loves these people. And
she works on it a lot, most of the year.
There's a process you have to go through to get approved to be a host.
Yeah.
There has to be safety regulations you can
Everybody
manage.
has to have background checks.
Everybody that serves at it has to have background checks. Your facilities have to be able to handle it. There has to be enough population in your area of special needs people to be warranted, because the foundation helps with a lot of it. They help with a lot of the grants for it and with a lot of the scheduling
and there is Night
and
to Shine.
promotion.
They said there was like 800 this year or something, all over the U.S., all over the world.
Yeah.
It is such an amazing thing. I said this on my vlog, but anytime anybody asks me what charity to donate to, my first thing now is going to be Night to Shine.
Good.
Because it was such an amazing experience for the people who attended, for the guests, but I think more so for even those of us that volunteered.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's a massive undertaking. And then as the host church, then you're suspending at least 3 or 4 days before it of almost anything you normally do within your facility, within your building, so we were constantly trying to make sure
like all the chairs in the sanctuary
we had to
come out because that was the dance floor.
That was the dance floor. We had to reorient every single room, whether it was a classroom or a fellowship room or a hangout room.
Like every room in the church was used.
Just about every, and you can't go
and you
up.
have to clear it out because you got to think about wheelchairs got to get
There
in.
is nothing on the second floors. Everything has to be first floor. So you got to have a building big enough to handle this stuff.
And you don't need just one big space. You need all these different rooms.
Right.
And I think
or the ability to break your space up into rooms.
Or like with dividers or something.
Yeah.
But I think the flow and everything, our church was so good at that big. We kind of have like a big circular, and it just flowed really well.
Yeah, the way our church is, we have a massive middle room, and then there's a hallway that goes all the way around it, and off of that hallway are other rooms.
Right.
And so it allows us to.
It really flowed well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that we kept asking each other as we were going through this process was in terms of the comparison to last year, because I was going to give you a little bit of backstory on last year. When we finally got the approval process, everybody was excited, but then there was this whole thing of, okay, what is this going to look like? What is this going to be how many volunteers are we going to need? How many people can we actually...
How many people are going to actually come?
How many people are actually going to come to it? And then, what's the number that we think we should cap it at? And then you're on a waiting list after that number. There was a lot of that stuff that had to be figured out. The meetings before the first night to shine at this church were every single week, at least 2 to 3 hours per meeting, and 3 to 4 months before this event took place. I mean, it is a huge, massive deal.
And you have to have a church that's open to it.
Yes.
Because we're clearing our sanctuary out, and we're having a dance hall, like with not inappropriate music, but secular music. Not every church would be okay with that. And I'm so thankful for the heart of the campus here, the heart of our church here.
Right.
That sees, the church is not some sacred cow that we can't move and have the heart to go, you know what? We have this facility. How can we bless the community?
Right.
Because we have been to churches who have, you can't move the flagpole. You can't move this plant in the sanctuary. We took everything out of the sanctuary, and it was a dance floor. And that is just, the church and the heart of the church, and just being willing to open ourselves up to this, to have the volunteer support to do it. Not every church would do that. We're so blessed to be where we are.
Yeah. And last year, the excitement of the newness of it was the biggest thing that got people in. This year, it was the thing of, I know what this is now. I've done it before. You're going to have to handcuff me not to do this.
Do it one time.
You will do it every time.
It is the most amazing, rewarding experience. So I can't put it into words.
We're going to try to.
I'm going to try. I've already cried. I'm not going to cry.
Yeah.
But it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Seriously.
Yes, it was.
It seriously was.
I could tell it in your face.
Because these people, of course, their family loves them and they're celebrated with their family. But
they should be.
But yeah. And I think the people that came were. But most of these people aren't celebrated on a daily basis.
No.
They're not welcomed in community. They're kind of shunned in a lot of ways.
Marginalized.
Yeah, and they're misunderstood.
Yep.
And to have a night for them.
Yeah.
And to see their face light up.
Yeah.
It was truly like seeing how Jesus sees them.
Agreed. Which is what it's all about.
Yeah. And it truly was. And they are the most loving, excited. And so many people even say to me, well, I would love to help Tonight to Shine, but I'm kind of nervous because I don't know what to say to them and I don't know how to act.
You don't have to say anything.
No. And they're not looking to they're like, well, I don't want to offend. They're not looking to be offended.
No, they're not there to be offended. They're there to have fun.
They just want to be loved.
Yes.
They just want hugs. They will find you and hug you. They are just so precious.
Yep.
And to have a night that celebrated them. And I saw so many moms there that were just in tears because their babies had not been celebrated.
Right.
And to have a time where they could shine and it was all about them.
Yep.
It truly was beautiful.
Last year, I got to be a buddy at this because Pastor Jordan came to me and said, you have a special needs brother and you have a special needs son. So you definitely know how to stay calm and how to work with someone that has special needs. And I still have the picture on my Facebook of the young man they partnered me with. And I found out throughout
was he there?
I looked for him. I didn't see him last night. I don't know if he may have been there somewhere.
There was a lot of people there.
There's our guest list last night was the same as last year at 150. And then there was like a 20-person waiting list to get in.
Yeah.
So and a few people probably felt there with the flu. And then Jordan
I think some people
would call them and be like, okay, we've had 2 spots open up. Are y'all still available and want to come tonight or things like that? And then she was scrambling the day of with volunteers getting sick. And people having scheduled things come up, or the boss calling and saying, I really need you to come into work. I'm so sorry, kind of thing. And so she had to figure all that out. But being a buddy last year, I got to, the young man they partnered me with, I found out throughout the night he was actually engaged to another special needs young lady.
There was a lot of couples there.
Yeah, a lot of couples that were there, and they met at a night to shine, and they had been dating for like 3 or 4 years, and then they were engaged, and they were like going to be married within like 6 months after that night to shine. So they're probably married now, and so I looked for them last night. But just the process of simply going, making sure that they're okay, asking them, every 30 minutes to an hour, do you need to go to the restroom? How are you feeling comfortable?
Well, and just being their friend to go through, because a lot of the people that come, they may not know anyone.
Well, and the thing is, this is the first time we'd ever hosted it. So if you've never been to this church, you don't know where the restrooms are. You don't know where that room is.
And as a special needs parent, I would be terrified to just drop my son off at a place that you're like, is he going to run off? Is he?
Right.
So it's amazing that each person has someone that's just one-on-one responsible for them. Because it's a lot of people, they could get overstimulated.
Yep.
I mean, the special needs list is so long.
Yeah, and thankfully they give you a little bit of a background on what their favorite color is, the kind of music they like to listen to. They give you a card with their name, how it's pronounced, and another thing that's cool is they tell you what their name means. And so that way you can know biblically or historically that the name Mark means marked by God. The name Nathan means the gift from God. The name Lucy means light and the one who brings light. And so as you're talking to them at the dinner table or whatever, you can... The whole emphasis is to let them know they are not an accident. They are not here by coincidence. That God knit them together in their mother's womb. They are special. They are gifted. And even though a lot of people that come tonight to shine are repeat attendees, they've been to one before. There is some that they're there for the very first time,
and they've never
heard their name said to them that way. They've never had anyone. Maybe some of them maybe have never had anyone tell them that they are gifted, that they are special. And without fail, every single time someone gives their heart to the Lord. And a lot of times it's the helpers, because they see for the first time how God sees a person through compassion and through mercy. And then it hits them. God sees me that way too. We had 14 or 15 people give their hearts to the Lord at Night to Shine because of this. It was just such a powerful time.
And I'm telling you, every single person that leaves the event is changed, whether they're the guest or whether you're a volunteer. It's just truly the most special thing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yep. So being a buddy, I had to learn where all the rooms were and then walk them through it. There's like 4 meetings you come to. There's the sign up meeting, then there's the background check,
they have like
and then there's the protocol training meeting. Okay, for all you buddies, this is where you need to be beforehand. This is what you need to wear. When you get your person, learn their name quickly. Kind of find out if they have any food allergies, and make sure that when the person bringing them food, and of course they scan everything. They're not going to serve anything that's a major allergen like eggs or nuts or something. They're not going to have any of that in the building, but if they do have like an aversion to dairy because there's mac and cheese being served or something, then just tell them no mac and cheese. They want potatoes, kind of thing. You just try to help navigate that stuff. But then I just walked with them throughout the night and just really helped them have the best time I could. Made sure they got signed up for everything they wanted to do. I said, okay, there seems to be a long line for the limo ride. Do you want to go do this? And he was such a go with the flow. He's like, yeah, let's go do that. Yeah. And so we went to do that. And then we ended up meeting his fiance halfway through at the dinner time. And she was like, okay, I know we got to sing our karaoke song, so we have to go to the karaoke room. So we went there, and this year I came to Jordan and said, where do you really need me this year? She's like, honestly, I think we're going to have enough buddies. I need you to be an operations person. I need you to just be ready to go anywhere and do anything in a moment's notice, because you know the building and you know the people so well. So that's what I ended up doing. There were so many
different teams of people that, like we said, there's buddies for everybody, but then you got people that are working in the kitchen and serving the food. You got people in the karaoke room. You got people that are manning all the registration, the photography, the hair and makeup people. It's so many individualized teams.
There's at least 20 different areas to serve in, and every single one of those areas requires a minimum of 3 people.
Yeah,
so
already
you're at 60 volunteers, not counting buddies, and we have 150 people attending. You need 150 buddies.
We can't stress this enough. What a huge,
massive
undertaking it was. And like I said, to have the church be open to that, because that's a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
To have all these people in your building to be like, are we gonna be able to pull this off? We don't have 1,000-person church here.
And living in this day and age we live, there could be people that take advantage of knowing there's a big crowd here and they could sneak in.
Oh yeah, we gotta have security. We have police
everywhere.
there.
Yeah.
It's just a huge thing, and I don't envy the people that had to, plan this all year.
Yeah. And there are people that are unfortunately pretty twisted and they use these as opportunities to take advantage of special needs people.
So yeah, that's why everybody's got to have background checks.
And everybody needs a background
security
check.
Everywhere. There was security at every door.
Our security guy, we all call him Turner. He is the fastest reactor I've ever seen. One of our, I think
Matt?
Yeah, I didn't want to give his first name, but
well, you said his last. That's so much better.
Anyway, he knows who he is. But he was wearing the earpiece, and then our youth pastor was wearing an earpiece, and he said, "I kid you not, in the space of 3 minutes, his name got yelled over the frequency at least 15 times. Like, we need this, and somebody check this, somebody check that." So he was scrambling and talking to people all throughout the night. I can't wait for the debrief meeting to hear all of his stories of everything that he saw, and that's the other thing is most people that are serving, you're focused completely on what you're doing because you want to do it to the best of your ability. So you don't get a chance to take everything in.
And that's the thing, like where you're serving, I would love to be a fly on the wall at every single place.
Right.
I saw where they came through, where I saw them.
Go back and watch the cameras.
Yeah. But I would love, and I know they took video and stuff to see what they looked like.
No, I mean like the security footage. You watch the whole thing.
But I know they took video and stuff. But that's what I want to see is like their faces, like when they were getting their hair done and all of that. And it's just, I just want to see all the footage. It's so sweet.
So I was basically walking around with my tag on and my suit jacket and just to letting people know who I was. The other area she wanted me to serve at this year was for a certain time slot. She wanted me to play piano during the dinner time to set some background music. And so I went and got some famous love songs from the Disney Channel and got the chord charts for them and started playing around with them and setting the mood of the atmosphere because a lot of people, like you said, are there as a couple. And so I was like, I know this would be nice. And whether they know these songs or not, I'll enjoy playing them. Yeah. And so that was what I did, was just walk around the whole night, just checking in on volunteers. Does anybody need water? Do you need me to stand here and let you go to the restroom real quick kind of thing? And just anything I could do to just be available, walking throughout the building, constantly checking in with Jordan, checking in with Pastor, anybody I could, who might have felt, kind of, needing a breath for a moment. So, but talk how you got involved at Night to Shine this year.
Well, last year I really wanted to be involved, but of course we have 3 children. And
we do?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
That's why I said, of course. And everybody wants to know, was Nate able to go to Night to Shine? He's got 2 more years. You got to be 14.
Although Pastor Jordan said
we're not gonna ask any favors.
She's like, I can make an exception for Nate. I'm like,
so obviously we have 3, kids, 3 small kids. Nate, you have to be 14 in order to go to Night to Shine. He's only 12, so he's got a couple more years. And I wanted to be involved in Night to Shine. I thought it was going to be a really cool thing, but it was one of those things. I knew you needed to be there more because it's your job. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have to stay at home because anyone that could watch our kids is going to be at Night to Shine.
Right.
And so I didn't get to be involved. I heard all the stories. I saw all the pictures. I thought it was really cool, but I wasn't able to be there. So again, I was thinking this year it was going to be the same thing because kids, you can't bring your kids there and all of our kids are too young. And so I was like, well, my place is to watch them. That's how I'm helping Night to Shine, is to keep them. And then kind of last minute, we weren't sure if your mom and dad were going to get to come for Mark's birthday.
Right.
Very last minute, probably the week of almost.
Yeah.
They said that they were going to be able to come for just a short trip,
2 nights,
like 2, not even 48 hours, I don't think.
Just around. Yeah.
Just around there. And, so they came for Mark's birthday. And when they got here, they were like, I heard y'all have a Night to Shine. We'll watch the kids if you want to go to that. And I was telling David, I don't know. I don't want to stress anyone out because I haven't been to the trainings. I haven't had, we do have background checks on us.
Because you serve with children every week. So
I know you have
to have your background check.
So if the background check thing is cleared, I know that was. And so I was like, I just don't know because I don't want to, everybody has their job,
But I'd said to you, just at least send her a text and go, hey, I'm available if you need me.
So the day of the thing, I texted Jordan and said, no pressure. If you need help, we have childcare.
Which I would, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I know Jordan needs help. It's just where is it an
Right.
area that Jessica can serve in
Right.
with all the logistics
I mean, I
of
figured
everything.
there was something, but I didn't want to like upset the apple cart, you know?
Well, not only that, but there are some areas of service that maybe somebody did call in sick or whatever, but she would look at that and go, Jessica hasn't been to any of the meetings on how to do that area.
Right.
Maybe
Right.
So it would have to be a specific area that you could jump right in and do.
Right. And so I figured there would be something, but I didn't want to put any pressure on her. So just like, if there's anything I can do, David's mom and dad are here. They can watch the kids and I can come help. And she texted and said that she had just gotten a text from someone that was going to be in the karaoke room running your computer that you had set up.
Yep.
It was so funny. Of all of the hundreds of people, the exact thing that they needed me for was the exact thing I was qualified to do.
Don't you dare tell me there isn't a God. Don't you dare tell me. And God did not make that person sick so Jessica could serve there.
No,
but God knew that person would get sick.
They
and
needed
Jessica
someone
would need
that knew how to work David's computer.
and would be energetic and
that
talk
knew
to the
how to
people in the
work
room.
a Mac and didn't mind being on a microphone. And I was like, well, I mean, I think I could do that.
Yeah.
And so I was so
Describe
excited.
the karaoke room because it was my project.
Yeah, you didn't say that. Like David set up, y'all set up days before of this thing. But it was like a smallish room,
Do you have a picture
medium
of it?
size. Yeah, I have a picture
Okay, we'll
of
put
it.
a picture right here.
And there's chairs that are facing like a stage. It's not up, but it's on the floor.
Yeah.
Some microphones, and then on the back behind the audience, there's the TV screen
That has the words.
and then on the side there's a little desk that has a computer and a
sound mixer.
microphone and stuff. And so they would come in at the door and tell us what song they wanted to sing, and then the program that we use for our songs and s'mores at the other campus, you put the same program in there, so we could very quickly look up the song and it would play, and the words would show.
And then you would be able to take multiple songs at a
And
time
like in a queue.
and put them in a queue. Yeah.
So we weren't having to scramble.
And the great thing about the program is you can put their name with it. So
Right, so it
Jessica
could
would
say,
know,
like,
Bobby's
Kate-
coming up and he's going to sing blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So we needed someone who knew how to use a Mac, which I feel like everybody here does not know how to use a Mac. They all are PC people.
They need to get saved. We're praying for them.
And so Jordan was like, "Oh my gosh, this is perfect because you're the exact person that needs to do this." And so I was so
Yeah,
excited.
Jessica's touched my computer a few times.
Yeah, I've used the computer a few times. And so Anna had used that program before at our campus. Like I said, I knew how to do it. And so it worked out so perfectly. And so your mom and dad watched the kids and had fun. They did pizza and games and all this stuff at home. And I came with you tonight to shine. And
I brought you early after we met my parents for lunch while I was working.
I wanted to come see everything while they were setting up.
I was like, I need Jessica to walk through it. So when she comes back before the setup time, she doesn't have to
like learn
again.
the sound mixer and all that, how to turn things up and down. And so me and your mom just walked through the church, and your mom had never been to a Night to Shine. So David's brother has autism. Now, I don't know that Kevin would like Night to Shine because sensory wise, sound equipment and stuff is really bothersome to him. Microphones are very stressful, like his OCD and stuff with them.
But I say it's not that he loves to listen to things. So it's not the sound. It's the thing of, okay.
I mean, the sound system.
Well, I mean, yeah, but even walking around the room, if Kevin, my brother, if he is OCD, his autism is very to where everything has to be done a certain way. And so, and even like dinner, if the food is touching his plate, that means he has to eat it.
Right.
And he also,
and like if they put the microphone down where he doesn't think it was the right place,
yeah,
or
that's
the
not
right
where the
way,
microphone came from. So that must not be where it needs to go back to. So like if the red microphone was in the left stand and the person singing puts it in the right stand, Kevin will jump up out of his chair and run to the stage and put it back in the stand.
So
it's
I
supposed to
think
be
something
in.
like this would probably stress him.
I think
more
so
than,
too.
But it was really neat, I think, for your mom to get to walk through and see it before. And she just was like, "This is so neat." And she's like, "Our church needs to do this," which I think so many more churches need to do it. It's such an amazing experience. And so I was so excited. I mean, I knew it was going to be great. Like everything the church does is great, but just to see it all come together and see all the balloon arches and the photography stations and all the different areas and how well everything was decorated, and just to see it all was really, really neat.
I agree.
And then we came back right before, like we said, before Night to Shine. We got there like an hour or two before the thing started.
Hour and a half before.
And just kind of getting to see everybody was so excited. Like there was just like a buzz in the air, while we were all
Yeah, because
finishing our.
most people that were there that early attend the church and they've seen this before and done this before. So they can't wait to see everybody start coming in.
And I was so excited to be paired with one of my, again, great friends at church. God just knows.
Yep.
And I got to hang out with her in the karaoke room, and some youth volunteers were with us.
Yep.
And so we got them, we had everybody practicing, letting us try out the equipment and stuff.
Yep.
And then it was 6:00.
And the rush happened. I mean,
they all get there at the same time.
Oh yeah,
practically.
most people there, and the volunteers are getting there 5:30. They're walking in. They're going to get their name tags. They're checking in, and our registration people, they just know we are the front line. Everybody's going to hit us first, and we have to. And they've arranged it in a way where volunteers come in one side and everybody else comes in the other
organized,
side.
yeah.
It had to be that way because otherwise you're going to get swamped from so many directions. Everybody's going, "Where's registration? Where's registration?" No, they had to up front say parking. Registration's this way. If you're a volunteer, you go this way, kind of thing. And so, 6:00 hit immediately. By 6:05, 6:10, 100+ people are already in the building. I mean, it is a swarm of people, and it is absolutely nuts. And then by 6:30, just about everybody's there.
We had people coming into karaoke pretty quickly after 6, after they got registered.
Because some people they love it, and that's one of the first things they want to do and get it done.
Karaoke is something that it's time. Like it takes
that song is at least 3 minutes long.
Yeah, 2 to 4 minutes long, and so it gets a line very quickly.
Yep.
We had a line out the door almost the whole entire night.
Yep.
And seeing everybody cheer them on, all of them cheering each other on and them singing. And there were some,
because a lot of them know each other, so they call out by name.
But even if they don't, these people are so loving to everybody.
Agreed.
They really are. And they want people to cheer for them, so they're going to cheer for each other,
Yeah.
And some people were very quiet as they sung, and then some people had so much personality and are really getting into it and dancing. Of course, there was people that a lot of the buddies sang with their people.
Yep, absolutely.
And seeing the different songs they picked was hilarious. Some people went church songs. Some people went we had
dance club songs, country songs, rock and roll. Classic pop.
Gangsta's Paradise we played.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Miss Taylor Swift, get your songs on this program.
I know. Everybody wanted Taylor Swift, and because of her licensing or whatever, it wouldn't let us have her. I'm like, if she knew that we were doing Night to Shine, she would give us permission.
Well, Jessica can go into the whole thing of what happened to her original music. Her Taylor's versions have not hit the program yet.
They didn't
the old
have
programs, the old
but
songs.
They didn't have even her not Taylor's version on there. They didn't have any of them.
I think a lot of those unlock if you get the premier.
Yeah, we need to figure out a way because we did have lots of requests to play Taylor, and I'm like, I can't play Taylor.
And a lot of people were like, "How can we help with this next year?" So I'm going to talk to some people about the Blessed Jess Army helping sponsor something, and maybe that can
That would be so cool if the Blessed Jess Army could sponsor the karaoke room.
Well, the Blessed. Have you ever named your group the Fam?
No.
You call them the Morning Crew, right?
I call the people that watch first thing in the morning the Morning Crew.
Yeah.
But
me, you, and Jen.
I've already. I mean, I had a whole video about this go up on my channel, and I've already had people say how can we help? What can we do? It is such a worthy thing to put your money to.
Agreed.
It really is, and the difference you're making. I talked to several parents before it started who were in tears. They know how much their kids are worth. They see them every day. They see how resilient they are, how strong they are. But to see them, like I said, to see them being celebrated, to see them light up because of all the attention and all the love, it does something to you as a parent. It really does. I mean, these parents were just in tears. And one of the moms said to me, she said, "I wish people knew how blessed I am." She said, "Every single day my baby wakes up and he just has so much joy." She said he's not worried about, "Hey, I need to lose some weight. I need to get the brand new pair of tennis shoes. I need to do all." He does it. It's they don't have that social pressure placed on them, and they just live so loving and so free.
And we get it because that's the way Nate is.
Yes,
we completely
I know,
get
with special needs, they can have meltdowns, they can have hard days because they have such high sensory needs. But underneath all of that is just this joy and this exuberance. If you know anyone, especially, I don't know what it is about Down syndrome people, they are these absolute
sweetest people,
the sweetest, it breaks my heart when you talk to people who are for like aborting Down syndrome babies, because I've never.
You're missing out on such a blessing.
Such a blessing. And I know, it can be a hard road in terms of medically and stuff like that, but it's such an amazing gift. And that's what she said. She said, I was given the most amazing gift.
Yes.
And people don't see that.
Right.
And so just getting to have those conversations, I was crying before the thing even started.
She was walking down the hallway because she wanted to walk around and see everybody, getting set up and people coming in before we launched the karaoke room. And she came back down the hallway between registration and the photo booth area and the karaoke room. And I was leaving the karaoke room to make sure everything was good and then to go back to where I needed to be. And she and I meet in the hallway and she's just sobbing. And I had to hold her for a second to go, we haven't even started yet. You better clean this up, sister.
I had a few moments throughout the night where it just hits you and you see all of these people together.
Yeah.
And just realizing these people don't normally get out. I don't, and when I'm out in public, I may see, somebody with a disability here and there, but just to see them all together and to see the love, and it was just see them all dressed up in their beautiful dresses and tuxes. And I mean, they went all out.
Yeah.
This was their big day.
And it was funny. This is what I was talking about earlier that I was going to get to. There was a volunteer who said to Pastor at the event, I wish my senior prom had looked this awesome.
It was awesome.
There are people.
It was way better than my
There are
prom.
people everywhere going, this is the best looking event of this kind with this theme of special and king and queen and all of that. And that's the other thing. At the very end, there's a crowning ceremony.
They all get to be
Everybody
crowned.
gets a crown. Every girl gets a tiara.
Oh, and we forgot they each get like boutonnieres and corsages.
Corsages.
Yeah.
And the buddies all wait on the dance floor. So the first time you meet your buddy is on the dance floor and y'all get to dance.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So you're dancing with the person and then you're like, okay, what do you want to go do? And they have special seating times because it's 6 to 9 o'clock. And so there's 45-minute windows, 45 for dinner. And then at the very end, the last 30 minutes, everybody's together in the big dance hall sanctuary where you watch a video from Tim Tebow and his wife about how special you are. And then Miss Jonesboro, who was crowned Miss Jonesboro. She was there and greeted everybody.
Yeah.
Of course, Jordan got to say a few words, and then Pastor got to come up and share from the Bible. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. You have a purpose. God knows the plans He has for you, and He gets to lead them in a prayer to receive Jesus. And like I said, 14, 15 people gave their hearts to the Lord from that room.
And like what I love is they go all out. They don't go like, well, let's do something small.
If a question can be asked and a detail can be thought of, it is.
And that's how it should be for them.
Absolutely.
They deserve it. They deserve that and so much more. And their families do too.
Yeah.
And I'm just so proud. I mean, we have been, I don't want to cry. We have been.
If you do, there's tissues on the floor next to you.
We've been in churches, on staff in churches. This is the only church that we've ever been at that's had a special needs ministry of any kind.
Correct.
And
your home church has a hybrid of one, but
I'm talking about on staff, the ones we've served in.
Right.
Since we've had a special needs child.
Right.
And we've begged for just a room that we could put together something, because I would go with Nate. We would sit in the car. We would sit in the lobby or foyer. We would sit wherever, and you feel like you're a second-class citizen. You feel like you're not part of the church. You feel completely unseen by everybody.
Man, would you please take your child out of the room?
Yeah, or you feel like people are staring at you, and so to be at this church where not only do we have a special needs ministry, that's amazing enough.
Yep.
Not only our campus has a special needs room, that's amazing enough. That's all we ever prayed for, was just that. But not only that, but we are at this church where they see the value in doing an event like Night to Shine.
Yes.
As much of a headache as it is, as much as legality and all of this organization, all this planning, all this money and all this other stuff, they still see the value.
We're willing to go over every hurdle, cut through every piece of red tape because these people are worth it.
They're worth it. And so it just warms my heart because it's saying like our child is worth it.
Yes.
And for so long, that's not the message. Not that anyone intentionally made us feel like that wasn't, like he wasn't worth it, but how it felt was, we're not going to start a ministry just for Nate.
Right. and I guess we're taking a serious break before we get back to the fun of this, because the top three things, and we've kind of shared this a little bit, but the top three things that I've heard from churches about special needs is, number one, and this is the worst thing to say, is we know that if we start doing this, the floodgates will open and we won't
And
have
let
the
me just-
manpower or the
Let me
resources
tell
to
you
take
that
care of them.
I hate when people say that, because that is a cop out, and that
you're-
is an
you're-
excuse.
And you're flat out saying that God cannot take care of the situation.
Now-
He absolutely can.
And it's hurtful as a special needs parent to say, well, there's all these, and we've told pastors, there's people that are just sitting at home because they don't have a place. They don't have a
Right.
place at church. And they're like, well, if we have something, there'll be too many of them. We can't handle it. How offensive is that?
I know.
And we're not asking these.
How little is your faith?
Can we have a room that their parents even can take them to? Can we do something? But no, because we can't, because the need is so great, we're not going to do anything.
Right.
That makes me so angry.
Me too.
Because they're worth it. These families are worth it.
Second thing I always hear from people is that we want to do something like that, but we know that requires volunteers.
Yeah.
That people are going to have to give up sitting in service frequently. We already struggle to get kids workers and other workers in ministry. Now you're asking us to do other workers that are doing a very intense job that is going to require training and is going to require safety protocols and things like that. And we just don't think there's anybody in our church that wants to go through all of that. And I hear you, and then the thing is, and even if we reach out to schools and programs that have special needs people, they're basically, we're asking them to do their job again on Sunday.
What I say to that, again, start somewhere.
Start small with something.
Put a sensory room in.
Yeah, and
That their
stream your
parents-
service in there
That
so
their
they
parents can
be
go and
there.
sit there. And then, you know what? Like, God will supply.
Yes.
You know, and I'm telling you, just like Night to Shine, there are people out there who need to be involved.
Absolutely.
That their lives will be made better. And I believe we've visited churches that have special needs ministry and do it very well.
Yes.
And the people in there love
Yes.
getting to serve in
It's
there.
just like Night to Shine. Once you do it once and you sense the joy of it, it will not be hard to go back and want to do it again.
It breaks my heart that there are so many families that can't come to church.
Yep.
Because there's no place for their child.
Right.
When you have a little 6-month-old that they have autism and you don't know it yet, or a 2-year-old that you know they have autism, but they're only 2, they can work around that. They can bring them to the nursery. They may have higher needs, but they're small enough.
Right.
When you have a 10-year-old that has autism, there's nothing you can do.
No.
And so they can't just go into the regular kids church. The difference is so great.
Right.
And so these moms and dads, they sit home.
Yep.
And they don't get to be connected to the body. They feel like there's not a place, and there's not a place for them.
And they feel like the church doesn't care about us.
Yeah.
Because there's no church around
And
us
then
that
what?
has
They
something
feel
for
like
us.
God doesn't care about them.
Right. Because if God cared, then why is there not a church near me that cares about this?
It's so isolating. I mean, these people, a lot of them, they have a hard time going to Walmart. They have a hard time going to, and so
Their life looks nothing like anybody else's life.
and we are so blessed that Nate has a lot of higher functioning. But could constantly see, like, our life is a lot different than
Yes.
normal people. And we don't even have it, the same as some people who have lower functioning people in their life. You don't think about it, but going to Walmart is hard.
Yeah.
Going to get the haircut is hard. Getting them into school and IEP meetings is
And
hard.
don't get us started on doctor's appointments and dentistry.
Hard. Everything.
Very hard.
I mean, I remember when Nate was little, getting him dressed was hard.
Yep.
Brushing his teeth, like everything that you take for granted, it is harder as a special needs parent.
Yes.
And so church is one of the hardest things
Yes.
because it's loud. There's a lot of people.
There's a lot of movement.
There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of sounds. And we need to do better as a church. And I do think things are changing.
Yes.
But we need to do better as a body of Christ
Amen.
to welcome these families and to love these families because Jesus sees them.
Yes.
He sees them right where they are. And it just breaks my heart that so many of them are unable, and I've talked to them personally, they are unable to go to church because there's not a place.
Right. And then the final thing I hear is there's not enough demand in our area
And that's
for
a
us
lie.
to do something like that. And to that, I want to look at this camera right now and say, pastors, churches, if there's one, they're worth it. If there's one, you leave the 99 and you go get the one. If there's one family in your city that needs help being in church, and you know that if you took one room that has a classroom of people that don't even attend that Sunday school class anyway, and you probably should have stopped it 10 years ago, and you can convert that room into a room where a family can bring their special needs child and have one volunteer rotating to help and just spend time with them and share Jesus' love with them every single week, so that family can have a 2-hour breather and go to church, or can sit in there with them and watch them play and have fun while they get to watch your service and enjoy a comfort and quiet room where they can relax. It is worth it to do that. And yes, you'll probably get some buzz because other special needs families talk to each other. And yes, you might need some more resources and some more help. But you need to trust that if God has placed this in your hands, God will provide for it. God will build it, because he said, unless I build the house, you labor in vain building it. I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. They are worth it. This is a soul that matters to God. This is a family that matters to God. And if you don't make it a priority, then just like Jesus said, because you did not do it to the least of these, you did not do it to me. And that's what angers me more than anything else. And I know I've been on a rant here because this is my people. This is ministry. These are pastors that carry cards in their wallets that say they are licensed ministers of the gospel, and they do everything they can to help all the normal people. But if I have to jump through one more hurdle or over one more hurdle or go through one more hoop or one more piece of red tape to inconvenience our people or inconvenience our church or stretch our faith and stretch our budget, I just don't see the value in that. You should be ashamed.
And I
don't understand. I don't get it.
Even a tiny, tiny town, there is a huge special needs.
1 in 10 children now. 1 in 10 children.
You may not think your area has a big special needs population. I guarantee you they do.
They do.
And
the reason you probably don't know about them is because they're at home and they can't come out.
Yes. They are isolated.
Yes.
And everything is hard for them. And so instead of making it harder, we need to look at ways to make things easier for them. I have such a heart for these moms and dads because it's so easy to feel unseen, and like what you do, of course you love your kid and you're going to do whatever you can for them. But the world doesn't see it. The church doesn't see it. Not always. And so, you know what? Jesus does, though.
Yes, he does.
And we are his hands and feet. And so when
if you
one
give
of
a
us,
cup of cold water in my name, you've done it to me.
if one of us is hurting, we should all be hurting. We should all see this need. It's such a huge need. And I do think things are changing in the church.
Yes, it has gotten a lot better.
Back 20 years ago, I don't know any church had a special needs ministry.
No.
And they are coming. But it's been a long time
There's
coming.
some churches now, praise God, we know of one in Alabama because we've talked to the pastor of that church, because it was one of the pastors that I believe did our ordination meeting. That's their biggest.
Georgia?
Georgia, yeah. That's their biggest thing.
They have a small church.
Instead of a VBS, they do a special needs camp every single year, and all the community knows about it and brings all their special needs children to it.
It's overwhelming to think about all the care that they're going to need. I don't know all the answers.
No.
I don't know all the answers, but
God knows them.
Yeah, and just being open. And that's what I love about here. Does everybody here know exactly what all the... No, but we're willing to learn.
Yes.
We're willing to figure it out. We're willing to come together. And you know what? Did everything go perfectly with Night to Shine? Probably not.
No.
We'll do it better next year.
No.
You know?
Always room to improve.
And just being willing to have something like this for these families, it makes me so emotional because we've prayed for this for so long.
Yeah.
And when we left our other church,
we were heartbroken.
And we felt like, God, what are you doing?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that story later.
What are you doing? But look what God did.
Yeah.
He brought us here pretty much kicking and screaming.
I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world now.
No.
Not at all.
No, because this is invaluable.
It is.
And the fact that our kid is going to be raised in a culture where he's not looked down on. He is, everybody loves Nate. Nate is a mascot.
I am going to ask the sub planning committee who does substitute planning to get me a special tag made that says Nate Hawley's dad.
Yeah.
And I'm going to wear that. I will be the most popular sub in school because
his teacher told us like he's the most popular kid in school.
Yes.
But see, like the schools have figured it out. Now
Exactly.
I know that they have professionals and they have training, but
and Nate is Nate, because of his functioning and because of his abilities, he can not blend. He can integrate better with more class settings. And I know that's difficult for other families that may not be able, especially
but there's a lot of classes that he's unable to.
Exactly.
And he still has to have an aide everywhere he goes.
Yep.
He's not so high functioning that he looks like a normal kid in class. All I'm saying is back when we were kids,
Yep.
those kids were left in another classroom. They were not part of the regular class.
No.
I never saw kids.
And they were basically babysat. They didn't really they didn't even give them a chance.
I don't ever remember, and I went to public school, I never remember seeing one kid with a disability ever. Now, they were there, but they weren't integrated. And seeing them being championed in school, seeing the other these kids are going to be better off for seeing these special individuals in their class. They're going to be more caring. They're going to be more loving, more sympathetic. It's only for the better.
Yes. And the awareness of it because they themselves are related to or know someone who has a child with special needs and probably at one point has seen that child abused or bullied or whatever, and they just rise up and they're so defending and they're so comforting and Nate has a group of young boys that, and I say young, they're high school or junior high, but they would take a bullet for him. They would jump in front of a bus for him. They love him so much.
At the movies, they like barricaded him around. No one with peanuts is going to sit on our row. Like they're so protective of him.
They all like do paper, rock, scissors to who gets the luxury of sitting next to Nate. They love him so much.
And that's what I'm saying. Like every single child should be celebrated.
Absolutely.
Just like Nate is. And so that is my heart. And I'm so glad that we're at a place that is our church's heart too.
So you just said that things can be improved and better. Now let's end this on a funny, lighthearted time of why I had to cut my set in half on the piano and make a beeline to the karaoke room.
Okay, the night was going great. Like we were doing fine. You checked on us a bunch. Everything was going normal. And then and
then it was time for me to go and do my shift. And I had the last shift. The last 45 minutes of music in the mealtime was me. And so I'm walking in there. The guy before me is playing guitar.
Okay, let me tell you. Set it up.
I walk in there. I get my iPad ready. I go up on the platform at 1 minute before he's supposed to get up and leave because that's what we said. At 1 minute before, you come up, you sit down at the keyboard, get your iPad in place, and then the moment I see you there, I'll wind my song down, and then you start playing so that it's a seamless, no break. We're just music into music. So I do that, and I'm playing A Whole New World. I'm playing Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Okay.
All these fun Disney love songs.
Okay,
and the process of that, all of a sudden.
Okay. So I'm back in the karaoke room.
Yep.
And we have a song come up and there's no music. Like there's none.
No music comes out of the speakers.
There's words. And so I'm like, and we had some weird songs that kind of started out with no music, so we're like, is this like a weird a cappella version?
Or some songs have
weird intros. And I thought it was just the song.
So one time you played one that was in Spanish.
Of course you had to see that one too.
That was awesome.
We played Hakuna Matata in Spanish. We had to fix that. But anyway, so
Hakuna Matata, Cordira.
And of course, the couple that was up there with no words, I'm like, is there another song that y'all, because we thought it was the song. Is there another song that y'all want to sing? And they're like, no. Like we sing this to each other every year. And I was like,
and this is where the special needs thing kicks in because that's my song.
That's my song.
Yeah.
And so,
I don't like change. Change is not good.
Well, they sing it every year to each other.
Exactly.
And so Christy thought on her feet and she got her phone out and she held the phone up to the microphone.
And y'all cranked the microphone.
And so then we thought, okay, we're past that. Well, then the next song, there's no music. And so we're like, what is going on? And we're like checking all the chords. Everything's looks like it's plugged in. The volume's up, everything. There's nothing muted. And that's about all I know how to check. Right. And so they're coming, all these, young teenagers are looking at me like, what do we do? And I'm like, David he is who I need. And he is in the middle of playing. I try to call you. Of course, you don't answer. And I'm like, he's in the middle of doing that. We can't go get him. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, who do we get? I don't know. And so finally they're like, we're going to go get Pastor Matt, who's our lead pastor. So he comes in there.
And he is about as techie as nobody.
He goes, okay, where's the cord? He's checking the same things I did. Like, where's the chords?
And
what's
he's a
going
musician, so he knows how to connect chords to instruments and things like that. But computers are not his strength.
Yeah, he was like, which channel is it going in? You know, we're looking at all the chords.
Yeah, he knows how to run a mixer.
And so he's like, I don't see why it's not working. And he looks at me and he's like, what do you need? And I'm like, David. That's all I knew to
And
say.
Pastor said, well,
and he's like,
I can play
don't know.
piano, so I will go. So I'm there, and all of a sudden, I feel this tap on my left shoulder because I'm facing this way. I feel this tap on my left shoulder, and he leans in and goes, your wife needs you in the karaoke room right now. I got this. And so I at this point, I'm thinking something has happened or somebody like hurt you or something. I don't know what to think. But then halfway, I'm like, but then the way he said it, I'm like, oh, something died on the mixer or the computer's dead or something like that. I'm just going to get there as fast as I can. So I get down there. I finally wait for an opening in the hallway.
I felt better that you kind of didn't know what was going on. I thought he was going to come in and be like, oh, boop, and it's fixed.
Yeah. No, I walk in and they explain it to me, and I'm like, I did the same thing everybody else did. I checked every single connection. Everything was fine. And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, what is standard protocol for all of you that have electronics out there? Standard protocol when something doesn't work, shut it off and turn it back on.
We were going to do that, but we were so afraid that if we turned it off, we were going to lose that whole cue,
Right.
you know, all of it.
And I looked at her and said, it's worth losing the cue to get it working again. I shut it off, get it back on. There it is. It's fine.
Yeah.
It just the program got overworked or
So while
something.
he was doing all that, they had some of the workers on the stage like dancing and trying to like keep their attention.
Oh, shout out to our lead team too and their buddies for man.
They were singing Proud Mary.
And one of them flat out turned into Tina Turner. She was going nuts and it was
They were
awesome.
loving it.
There is video footage of that, by the way, and it is hilarious watching her.
It was the best. So, you know, I mean, you just got to roll with it. And thankfully, we got it figured out. I feel bad because not everybody got to sing. I mean, we just had such a huge line.
Yeah.
So.
And immediately we took down some notes because immediately when it was all over and everybody was in the crowning room, me and Jessica's friend and her gathered around the equipment and said, okay, real quick, what are some things we can do to make this better next year? And we jotted down like 4 or 5 things that we kept having recurring things throughout the night, and we made a list of those things. But yeah, then just walking away, I took Jessica because nobody was in karaoke, everybody was in there, and I said, "You want to walk down and watch them get crowned?" And so we walked down and watched a little bit of it, and it's just
beautiful.
It's just so beautiful. And then the crowning time's over. And at that point, most of the people have to get on their buses and go back to their centers or their homes. But there was a lingering of people walking around wanting to finish, one more limo ride or they didn't get their picture taken yet or something like that. But then 9:00 came, and we tore down as much as we could. I put stuff in the back of the car, back in the closet.
The DJ was still there, and they were playing all kinds of songs. We were dancing.
Yeah, we were just having fun.
They were playing Bye 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 and Barbie Girl and all this stuff.
Yeah, just doing all that good stuff.
It was really fun for me because I don't normally get to be around a lot of these people that, go to the main campus. I mean, I do like on Ladies Night Out and stuff, but really that's it. It's when I'm here, I'm so got all the kids and everything.
This night awoke a whole new level of relationship for you too.
It really did. Like I have friends here, but getting to
But now you have close friends here.
Getting to be silly and all of that. It was really neat for me. I really loved it.
Yeah, because I mean, if y'all know Jessica, she's not the kind of person that just picks up her phone and randomly texts somebody.
Well, everybody has their own stuff,
I know, but now I think that probably 3 or 4 ladies after this event, you could shoot them a random text and go, "Hey, you feel like coffee tomorrow?" And they would be like, "Yeah." So I think it'd be a whole different.
It was really fun. It was just everything about it. And so I got home and I was talking to my mom, or even that night I was talking to my mom. And I was like, I can never miss this. I can't. From now on, I have to be involved in this. And so she's like, your mom said the same thing. If, we'll make it work where one of us can be there. Because once you go one time.
You want to go every time.
I can't miss it. No matter what we have to do, who we have to bring here, or whatever.
Right.
We have to figure it out because it was so impactful for me.
Yep.
It was so impactful.
And thankfully, they've already dropped the date of when it is next year. So we've already told our parents this is the date. So as we get, around the fall season, start looking at your calendars and let's see which couple can can come out and help us so we can make sure that week that we
And
are
I
free.
know, like, the year Nate can go, he is going to love
Oh, Nate is going to be the MC of that room. Nate's going to walk up and
He
go,
loves-
"Hey, my name is Nate, and I will be singing."
Oh, yeah.
all that stuff.
He loves karaoke. He loves to dance. I mean,
Oh,
him at a
yeah.
wedding is the
he's
most
gonna run
fun.
laps in that dance room.
Oh, him at a wedding is the best.
We have to get him in a tux, and
Oh, my
or
gosh.
just a suit at least to get him
I
suited
can't
up.
picture Nate in a suit. That's so sweet.
Yeah, he'll get his shoes shined. Maybe you might need to be his buddy the first time.
Well, it was so funny because he might. I was
He
talking
might be
to,
better with a couple.
I was going to
with the
say,
people.
I was talking to
Yeah.
my mom, and she said that her son said, you can take my picture and stuff, but I want some independence. He didn't want his mom going around with him.
Yeah.
So he had to get a
Well, he
bike.
does that now. We'll go in and want to hang out with him in his room. I need privacy,
Yeah.
please. So yeah, he may not want us near him that night.
I bet he'll have a long list of buddies that want to
Oh
be his
yeah,
buddy.
for sure. Everybody will be doing paper rock scissors to be his buddy for the night. He might have some people that attend school with him that find out he's going tonight to shine, and they might want to be his buddy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's the thing that Pastor Jordan's really trying to up next year is so many schools and churches in the city, they do stuff for special needs, but it's like when that night comes, they're having to almost pull away from what they're already doing to funnel into that. And so she's really trying to figure out, okay, what churches can partner with us, because I'll be honest, one of the biggest concerns next year is we're capped. Because it was so massive and so big,
we
and
can't grow
and
much
it's like
more.
our building. Now a lot of people like that our building is the way it is because it does make it more of
I
a
think
flow.
it's a great building.
But yeah,
for it.
the thought of, okay, could we find a place to do it that could do 300 people and 300 buddies,
Right.
and because then once the people finally wake up and are like, oh, can we still get involved? We're done. There's nowhere room.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just implore anyone that's watching this till to this point.
yes, find
Find a night to shine.
even if you have to drive hours to get involved.
I guarantee
you got to
there's
do it.
one. I mean, it's in 800.
Yes.
You find one.
There's
Like,
one near you.
It is
for
life
sure.
changing, and if you absolutely cannot volunteer, donate towards it.
Yes, please.
It is such a worthy cause.
Or tell other people about it. Say, I can't do it, but y'all need to do it.
I mean, it is such a worthy cause. It is such an amazing experience. Like, you will be a better person for going through it.
Agreed.
And I can't wait for next year.
Me neither.
I'm so glad I got to be involved.
Me too. All right. Well, I think that's a great place to end this, and I'm excited already about next year. I want to encourage again all of you. Thank you so much for listening, and I pray you'll give us 5 stars. You'll leave us comments. If you want to send us questions, we're going to have a Q&A episode coming up here in the next 2 episodes. So make sure you drop your questions in the comments, or you can email them to us at married15tolife@mail.com. Jess, do your thing.
If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you give the video a big thumbs up. Definitely subscribe if you haven't. That's going to let us show up in your subscription feed. Click the bell to be notified when we post a new video. And what else did I miss? Leave a comment down below.
I think that's about it. We appreciate you guys. We love you so much. Until next time, I'm David.
I'm Jess.
I'm the husband.
I'm the wife.
And we are married.
15 to life.
Have a good day, everybody. Go shine.